To me, being famous myself is not the idea of the run, and it wasn't the idea from the very beginning. To me, the only important part about the publicity is cancer can be beaten and the Marathon of Hope. And I'm just one member of the Marathon of Hope. I'm no different from anybody else.
43 years ago this month, Terry Fox's Marathon of Hope came to an end near Thunder Bay, Ontario, but Canadians, of course, continue that fight to this very day.
It's called the Terry Fox Run, and it happens every year. And to date, it has raised $850 million since 1980.
Incredible.
Unbelievable. And we are joined by Terry's brother, Fred. Welcome back to the morning show.
Thank you.
So great to see you. That number is staggering. What would Terry think of that? I would even imagine that number is.
No, I don't think he could, because when he left St. John's on that cold day in April in 1980, he thought maybe $1 million would be attainable. And then he got his way to Port aux Basques before he catch the ferry to Nova Scotia, and thought, well, why not $1 for every Canadian? And at the time, 24 million people in Canada. And when Terry was forced to stop his run to Thunder Bay, 43 years ago, just the other day, Canadians responded by sending letters and messages and postcards and cards to Terry, wishing him all the best, but making donations. So, he could never imagine his legacy as growing to, like you say, $850 million.
And counting. It's incredible. It really, truly is incredible. Listen, Terry never ran for the attention. We all know that, Fred. Can you tell us a bit more about growing up with Terry and your family and your parents and the sort of values that they instilled in you?
Yeah, born in Manitoba, those prairie roots that Mom and Dad grew up with, and moved us west when Terry was 8 and I was 9, and always taught us that it was important to work hard. Mom would say to us as kids, finish what you start. And Terry wasn't the biggest or fastest or even the brightest student in class, but he knew that he had to work harder than anybody else. And I think those, the things that Mom and Dad taught us, the characteristics that Terry grew up with, helped him along the way. Being diagnosed with cancer at 18 years old and having to deal with that, and watching other people going through the same thing. And Terry realized that it wasn't all about Terry Fox, it was about making a difference in other people's lives.
And that legacy, it continues today, and it warms my heart. And we talk about this all the time, because growing up, Terry and your family were so important to all of us. But I love that my kids today and generations, the next generation, several generations, continue to know about Terry Fox.
And I say it all the time, because this month I'm going to be visiting many schools across the country, and Terry never gets older. Mm-hmm. He's still that 22-year-old kid that was running across Canada, and he never gets older. Kids can relate, but again, Terry was just like them at one time, an average kid that had to work harder than anybody else. And it's amazing to know that, like you say, new generations of students are learning about Terry, learning about setting goals and having values like Terry did, and they're a big part of where we are today.
When we look at some of this footage from the Marathon of Hope, Fred, what comes back? Because I know you joined Terry several times during the marathon. Can you take us back to that time? Is there a certain memory that stands out?
One of my fondest memories is when Terry was here in Toronto. I had never ran with Terry when he was training back home in BC, and saw Terry run on TV, and got to run down University Avenue to City Hall and seeing 10,000 people there. It was amazing. And then a month later, in the middle of August, near Wawa, I was with Terry again for about 4 or 5 days, and a totally different situation, but those are fond memories I'll never forget. I wouldn't have known that once my wife Teresa and I left Terry in Wawa that 10 days later he would be forced to stop his run. And memories that we'll always have, but I could see then how Terry was impacting our country and bringing it together.
I was going to ask you, was there a moment when Terry knew the impact this was having on the country?
I think the biggest you know, in Toronto here, it was huge. 10,000 people at Nathan Phillips Square. Terry knew that his message was getting across and the importance of fundraising for cancer research, that we'll all be touched by cancer in one way or another, and that's why Terry was doing it. When he came home from Thunder Bay, the response by Canadians was incredible. It was just incredible with the letters and you know, cards that people sent to him. And Terry knew then, like, what he had done was already a success, and he would impact the lives that he wanted to impact.
The cards and letters continue. Tell us about the Dear Terry campaign.
It's amazing. Again, you know, it was such a big part of how Canada was showing their love to Terry back in 1980, and it happens today. We're receiving messages, Dear Terry messages, all the time during this campaign. People writing about how Terry has impacted their lives all these years later, that they made Terry made them a better person, or Terry taught them how to help other people. So it's been amazing.
Yeah. Well, you and the Terry Fox Run, as we have mentioned, continue to make an impact to this very day. We want to remind everybody the 43rd annual Terry Fox Run takes place on September the 17th. And for more information, you can visit the website on your screen. Fred, it is always an honor to have you with us on the morning show, and good to see you this morning.
Thank you.